Hey guys, this is Miss Edwards. I'm going to show you how to make some homemade salt Play-Doh. This is an old family recipe. I hope you enjoy it. Here we're gonna first add half a cup of salt, just plain salt. Add that to our medium mixing bowl. Next, we're gonna add a cup of flour. This is just regular flour without any yeast added. Just 1 cup. Try not to be messy. You see here I'm using a 1/4 cup scoop. Make sure I have enough, nice and easy. Just a little bit more. All right, add that to the bowl. Next, we are going to add a cup of water. You'll see some magic and voila, 1 cup of water. Add that to the bowl. Next, we're gonna be adding our oil. For that, you're gonna be using 1 tablespoon. This is just regular vegetable oil, nothing fancy. I like to tap it, make sure I get enough oil out of it. And last but not least, we're gonna move on to our 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Now here what I'm doing is I'm tapping the cream of tartar into the teaspoon. I would recommend splitting it up into either a 1/2 teaspoon or a 1/4 teaspoon, but I've done this before. Miss Botcher will guide you in that one so you know what to do. Once all of our ingredients are in, we're gonna mix it. We wanna make sure we get that water evenly mixed throughout all of the salt and flour. The better you mix it here, the easier it will come together on the stove. If it's not quite mixed through, just take a little bit of time. If your arm gets a little tired, let someone else start mixing it. But see here that I'm gonna be scraping the sides and really pressing it against the sides, trying to get everything mixed together. You'll see it starts to look like pancake batter or waffle batter, but trust me, you do not wanna eat this. It has a 1/2 cup of salt in there, so it'd be very, very nasty. All right, we're on the stove. Here you can see me putting it at medium heat. That's really important. And we're going to scrape the sides. Make sure that you're getting everything that you can out of the bowl. We're just going to add that right into our medium pot. Perfect. Okay, now this is going to heat up pretty quickly, so you don't want to take your eyes off of it. I'm gonna let it just sit while my pot warms up a little bit. It doesn't take too long on my stove. If your stove is a little slower, just be patient with it. You will see it start to change though as the heat starts to really affect this. We're not trying to bake it. Really what we're doing is we're just warming it up enough to evaporate some of that water and really give those ingredients a chance to mix together and start to coagulate into a dough-like mixture. So as I mix, you will start seeing the texture change. It goes from that goopy liquid to start being kind of chunky. Once you start seeing the chunks, as you can kind of see them here, those chunks are going to start building until you almost start seeing that Play-Doh texture. So here you can see it's really starting to get thicker. You're gonna start feeling that it's harder to mix. Now everything's starting to really stick together. I'm really trying to scrape the bottom of my pot and the side of my pot. The better you do at scraping, the more you're gonna have to pour out. So here you can see it's really turned into Play-Doh very quickly. Again, this does not take very long, really just a few minutes on your stove at that medium heat. If you see some smoke rising, it's not burning, it's just some of that water evaporating off. That's totally fine, but definitely keep stirring so nothing burns. So once everything starts clumping together and you can't stir it anymore, so here you see my spatula is not stirring, we're done. Turn off the heat and move the pot. Perfect. So when you're scraping it out, don't get all the crusty little bits, just get what is nice and Play-Doh like. We're gonna leave all that nasty stuff inside the pot. Make sure it's in one nice pile and then set it aside to cool. Okay, it's cooled. Make sure it's only warm to the touch. If it's hot, just let it sit for a minute. Now that we've let it sit and I know I can touch without burning myself, I'm gonna start kneading it. So what I'm doing, and if you've done a good enough job mixing it beforehand, we're just going to mix it together and we're gonna roll it out into a log shape. Now we're gonna separate it into 3 equal parts so we can make our 3 different colors. Here I'm just making sure they're even. You wanna get them approximately even, doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm just gonna form them into ball shapes and then make this well in the middle. So you can see that I have this divot or this kind of depression where I can put the color in. Do it to all 3 of them. Perfect. We've got our colors. You're gonna use a lot of the red. So here I'm going to add 20 drops. Make sure you're only adding 5 at a time. I've sped this up for you, but I did end up adding 20 drops. Make sure you're wearing your gloves so you don't stain your hands, and really knead it until it's one nice uniform color and you don't see any streaks of that plain dough going through. It should be one solid color when you're done. This is where it's great to work with the people in your group. You can all work on one color, switch off if your arms get tired. Here I'm doing blue. You only add 8 drops of the blue. Mix until uniform, so here you can still see it's kind of streaky, but I'm gonna start really kneading it. This blue is gonna be a little bit lighter, but that's okay. Make it into a nice ball. Move on to the yellow. For the yellow, you're going to add 7 drops. And then knead. This one is very vibrant. I love this yellow, it's very beautiful. And there you have it. Your own homemade Play-Doh in the primary colors. Have fun, and I hope you enjoy.